Welcome back to the deep dive. We're picking up right where we left off in Dante's Purgatory First Terrace, still dealing with the sin of pride.
That's right. Last time we spent some time with Oderisi de Gubbio, didn't we? Talking about how fleeting earthly glory really is.
Yeah, that whole vainglory of human powers idea.
Yeah,
It really it lingers and sort of sets the scene for Canto 12, I think.
it absolutely does, because now Dante and Virgil are moving on, and Dante encounters something, visually striking, a whole different way to learn about pride.
And that's what we want to focus on in this deep dive, right? Seeing what useful stuff we can pull from Dante's experience here for our own lives, our own journeys.
Exactly. It's not just about understanding the poem, but about finding those connections. So yeah, Canto 12, they're walking, and Dante looks down.
Right. And he sees these carvings on the floor itself,
Yeah.
like intricate tombstone reliefs almost.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And they show these really powerful examples of punished pride. Big examples.
Like who? Give us a couple.
Well, you've got Lucifer's fall, obviously. Nimrod and the Tower of Babel, that huge, arrogant project.
Okay, yeah.
Arachne, the weaver who challenged a goddess. Even the fall of Troy, linked to pride. It's quite a gallery.
And Dante makes them sound incredibly real, doesn't he? He says something like, the dead seem dead and the alive, alive.
He does. It emphasizes the sheer visceral impact of these images. They're meant to be unavoidable lessons.
It really makes you think about learning from history or even myth, seeing the consequences laid out so clearly. It's like a direct warning.
It is. And it pushes us to think, well, what are the carvings in our world? What examples do we see, maybe in the news or even closer to home, of pride leading to a downfall?
That's a great point. It's about translating these sort of ancient warnings into our contemporary lives, recognizing those patterns.
Because that's how we learn, isn't it? By
Yeah.
seeing those connections. And Dante, clever as always, adds another layer here. Something in the text itself.
Oh, you mean the acrostic?
Exactly. The VOM acrostic. Across several toparis describing these proud figures, the first letters spell VOM.
Right, and V being like you back then.
Precisely. So VOM becomes UOM, which is WOMO. Man.
Oh, okay. So subtle.
It is subtle, but it's powerful. It just quietly underscores the theme of human frailty running underneath all this pride. It links back to what Oderisi said, that vain glory.
So even as we reach for great things, we're still fundamentally human.
That's the paradox, isn't it? We can create amazing things, push boundaries, but we're also prone to this very basic flaw. Pride can get the better of us.
It's that constant tension, which brings us maybe to Arachne. Why her specifically? She's not quite on the scale of Lucifer or Nimrod.
No, but she represents something very specific. Artistic pride, or maybe pride in skill.
Ah, okay.
Her weaving was supposedly perfect, so good she challenged Minerva, the goddess of wisdom and crafts. It's the arrogance of the creator thinking they're equal to or better than the divine source, or maybe just better than everyone else.
And for Dante, writing this epic poem about, well, the divine.
You have to imagine that resonated. It's a warning about the potential pitfalls of creative ambition, perhaps. A reminder for any artist, any skilled person, about where confidence tips into hubris.
That's really interesting, thinking about our own talents, our own work.
Mm.
Where's that line?
Yeah.
It's tricky.
It is, but the canto doesn't just leave us looking at negative examples. There's progress. They keep moving.
And they meet an angel.
It's the angel of humility, a key moment. The angel shows them an easier way up the mountain, a less steep path.
A reward for confronting pride.
In a way. And importantly, the angel touches Dante's forehead and erases the first P, the P for peccatum, sin, specifically pride in this case.
That Dante feels lighter.
Immediately. He describes feeling this buoyancy, this ease, and they hear singing, Beati pauperes spiritu, blessed are the poor in spirit.
So letting go of the weight of pride literally makes the journey easier.
That's the clear symbolism, yes. Freeing ourselves from that burden, that ego, lightens our step on our own life journey. It's not just about the afterlife, it's about how we move through this life.
And Virgil explains this too, doesn't he? He says it'll keep getting easier as the other P's are removed.
He does. It's this idea of progressive purification. As you shed these flaws, the climb becomes less arduous, even joyful eventually.
Which feels very true to life, I think. When you manage to overcome a challenge or let go of some negative pattern, like, needing to be right all the time.
Things do often feel easier afterwards, don't they? You free up energy. The path forward seems clearer, maybe less daunting.
Yeah. It's a really hopeful message baked into this whole structure. Overcoming flaws isn't just punishment or hard work. It actually makes life or the journey better, lighter.
Absolutely. Each bit of humility gained, each bit of pride released, removes a weight.
So, wrapping up our thoughts on Canto 12, the big takeaway seems to be about the burden of pride, but also the liberation that comes from humility.
Yes. Learning from past mistakes, those carvings, acknowledging our human limitations, and actively choosing humility. That seems to be the path Dante is illustrating towards a lighter existence.
Which leads to a final thought for you listening. Thinking about your own life, your own path,
Yeah.
can you recognize any of your own carvings? Moments where pride might have made things heavier?
And perhaps how could embracing a bit more humility in those areas actually make your journey forward feel, a little bit lighter, maybe even more joyful, something to reflect on.
Definitely something to think about. Well, this has been our 46th deep dive exploring these lessons from Dante. Thanks so much for joining us.
We look forward to continuing the journey with you next time. Thanks for listening.